Welcome back to the marketplace, and let's now settle for our first story, something that got to do with the Ghana cedi, because the Bank of Ghana has increased the amount of dollars it sells on the market to commercial banks and dealers. The move, we understand, has been influenced by some pressure on the local currency over the past days. We have more on this in this report.
Also say about $40 million changed hands on the currency market on Monday. This follows a pickup in dollar demand by corporate firms over the last few days. The rate at which the central bank sold these dollars to banks also went up marginally, trading at around 5 cedis 36 pesos and 5 cedis 42 pesos. These were mainly rates that the central bank was offering to the commercial bank. However, analysts have argued that they don't see the situation getting out of hand because of the Bank of Ghana's strong reserves. This is because we are hearing that the central bank's reserves have reached more than $9 billion following inflows from the cocoa loan syndication. Some have also argued that the real test for the Ghana cedi would come during the last month of this year, when businesses demand more dollars to finance their import for the first half of next year.
Well, so it looks like the pressure is impacting negatively on the Ghana cedi and how it is trading on the interbank market today. This morning, it's likely that the dollar could be sold to you at 5 Ghana cedis for the 6 pesos. Now, the British pound is going for 6 Ghana cedis, 70 pesos. Now, the euro, on the other hand, has been giving us, telling us the fact that this is how it's going to be sold. And let's have a look at how the rates are faring on the market in terms of how things are going. Now, the Bank of Ghana also talking about how they're trying to deal with this problem has released a statement and basically talking about the fact that going forward, how much they are going to sell on the forward forex market. So if you look at your screens right now, the Bank of Ghana is announcing that, for instance, the next quarter they're going to sell about $125 million to the market. The 15th of October, you're looking at somewhere around $25 million. The 19th of October, you're looking at somewhere around $25 million. And also in November, 12th November, and the 6th of November, you're looking at somewhere around $25 million and $25 million for that month. Going into December, we're looking at somewhere around $25 million. So in all, raising about or selling about $125 million to the market and to those who are interested in getting dollars for their market operations and all the rest. So if you look at the time slot has also been given as well when the Bank of Ghana is planning to actually sell these dollars to the market in terms of how much they are raising, the time slot, the announcements of the results. The Bank of Ghana is saying that these are the times that we are going to auction these dollars to the public, and also the fact that it will be competitive in price. So it's not that because you just go in and auction, you are going to indeed get it. So what should be, let's try and get some analysis on this issue in terms of the way forward and what should be done as well, whether the Bank of Ghana it is indeed doing the right thing or not. We'll be getting a view on an analyst on this. So we'll get back to it on this issue and get some analysis on this issue. But before we get to that issue, let's find out what is happening on the commodities market, because Cocoa Board has paid some $10.2 million as interest on the money that it raised from the market last year. And Cocoa Board has paid that amount of money. Now, this was what we have picked up from documents that they submitted to Parliament for the 2018-2019 expenditure. We bring you this report on how it is planning to use or how it used the money.
Cocoa Board paid $10.2 million as interest on this loan from October 2018 to January 2019. While $8.1 million was paid as participation fees. So let's say the total financing cost or how the money was raised, we could be looking at almost $20 million paid. Also, about $30 million was paid in what the board clarifies as industry inputs. Now, a chunk of Cocoa Board's expenditure went into what it classifies as farmers' costs and operations. From Cocoa Board's accounts at the Bank of Ghana, we realized that $1.29 billion was drawn from the central bank, leaving about $1.2 million as balance at the Ghana International Bank. Well, engaging industry players, the cost of raising and serving the loan is still less expensive compared to developing countries like Ghana and looking at the country's credit ratings of B with a stable outlook may even have a better sovereignty than the corporate entity called Ghana when it comes to raising funds outside the country.
Let's do other stories because Ghanaian businesses will soon be able to list and trade on the Ghana Stock Exchange and the London Stock Exchange soon. The two parties are currently finalizing an agreement to facilitate this move. The move is part of a broader initiative to build a strong partnership between the two exchanges. Adame Friye is UK's Prime Minister's trade envoy to Ghana.
Earlier this year, Minister Baldwin was instrumental in, and your Vice President were instrumental in bringing this to the fore, the kind of partnership, if you like, between the London Stock Exchange and the Ghana Stock Exchange. The great benefit of this project, and we're getting very close, we have meetings today to try to move on the agenda, will be that actually it may well be that CD denominated bonds, people can actually buy Ghanaian bonds from overseas. That's one big project which will open up a huge flow of funds into Ghana. Second area is ensuring that actually Ghanaian businesses, where appropriate, will be able to have dual listings, both in the UK, on the London Stock Exchange and also Ghana Stock Exchange. So I think that what the whole project is designed to bring the expertise to the Ghana Stock Exchange that we have in the UK, but also to bring those vast amounts of capital and resource, non-government capital and resource, into the Ghanaian market. So it really is a high-level project which will have local impact on the ground very, very quickly when you see UK, when you see Ghanaian companies funded through these new mechanisms. And again, that's part of the transition away from aid, where people are going cup in hand, help us out, to actually, no, we are equal partners. You want to invest in our businesses, then you do it through the London Stock Exchange, through the Ghana Stock Exchange, and people can invest in Ghanaian businesses in the same way that people invest in businesses across the world. The point is that what we can bring with our expertise is the ability to have any type of bond, if you like, that the market demands. But the reason I mention a diaspora bond, this is not an official policy. The reason I mention it is because I see the number of Ghanaians, of people of Ghanaian heritage in Britain, in America, in Germany, across the globe. And at the moment, there's no really easy mechanism to invest in the Ghanaian stock, in the Ghanaian companies, or to invest in Ghanaian bonds. So I think that this collaboration with the London Stock Exchange will open up that whole avenue, not just the diaspora bonds if one wants to create one, but to any type of bond, any type of share trading in Ghana. So it really is, for me, once it reaches conclusion, this is a really big step forward, and it's completely in line with the vision of Ghana beyond aid and Ghana being a regional strength within Africa.
Well, welcome back from that. I know you're going to get you more exciting issues about the CD, and also this week is a customer service week. Now we'll take a break and be right back. Well, welcome back to the marketplace, and let's get back to our earlier story on the Ghana cedi with respect to the recent pressure and what the Bank of Ghana is doing. We'll get onto the line and speak to currency analyst Kofi Ampa on these developments and what should be the way forward. So let's get onto the line and speak to Kofi Ampa. Good afternoon, Kofi Ampa. And you've been following these developments about the Ghana cedi. It appears you're still struggling to firmly stabilize it, right?
Well, of course, you understand that. Let me first of all say good afternoon to your viewers. You should understand that the currency has been quite stable for 2019. The previous years, if you do year on year, valuation, you could you could understand that the city has been fairly stable. That's understandable, but the demand pressures and the Bank of Ghana has made some significant, market interventions, to make supply available. One of the reasons why we are talking about this forward rate supply, so purchase. Sorry. So it's important to note that some significant additions have been made within the forex market, and therefore it has gained some influence on some level of stability of the currency. However, yes, you are right. We have seen it is an expectation, of course, for every business or for every economy to have a stable, forex in terms of your exchange rate. It should be stable. It's important that you keep it stable for businesses as well, also as for your import. Okay, so that you can save the local business, especially for your exports, or to save your local business as well. So it's very important that we should have some level of stability.
Let me also find out from you, is the Bank of Ghana getting it right with respect to the monetary measures that, because over the past 3 months, 4 months, done a lot of measures. Yes, it's been fairly stable, all right, but we've seen some pressure all of a sudden at a time when the reserves is hitting almost $9.4 billion.
The Bank of Ghana is doing what it can to really help with the stability of our currency. But you should know that there are other external effects that will definitely hit on the currency. We recently got out from some macro economic challenges, especially on the banking side, the financial side. So these are the times that you will see the effect of whatever was done within the banking sector. All right, that's clearly very important. You will also feel the pressure now, especially for those of the industry players that had direct business lines with some of these banks. They will also have some effect. I mean, for example, if you recall the statement made by some of these manufacturing companies, Unilever and Co., on their business, their bottom line, it will have some effect on our currency. Okay, this economy, seriously, information is not really sensitive on our most of our variables, but the currency is one variable that really gets hit on anything that happens within the economy. So you're seeing traces of the things that have happened within the macro level and even significantly on the micro level as well, because now we're seeing some level of macro stability, but on the micro, a lot more people, especially the small businesses who do some level of trading and import, are complaining bitterly, and that is the effect that we're seeing now on the currency. So yes, we've seen some level of macroeconomic stability. We've seen that the currency has been doing, but what we're seeing currently are the ripple effects of some decisions or policies that were taken. That's why the central bank has to be quick enough, to bring in these policies, to help in the level of in terms of stabilizing the currency. You should also understand that it's a matter of demand and supply. So some of these policies that they are introducing now is to shore up supply somehow to be able to meet the demand, especially when we've entered the last quarter of the year, where demand for the currency is very high.
Kofi, so I'll ask you, so finally, what should the Bank of Ghana be doing differently to ensure that at least we stabilize things a little bit? I mean, every currency around the world witness some marginal blips. What should be the strategy going forward to ensure that at least we enjoy some stability going into the pressure season, last quarter and first quarter next year?
This new policy directive that they introduced takes away what we used to do in terms of the spot buy, the spot sale. That spot sale, that the purchase of the forex was done within the spot sale. Okay. Now this new policy that they've introduced really takes away that one. This gives some leverage, and it also brings in some level of liquidity into the market. All right. So that is one policy I am looking forward. I'm sure a lot more people are looking forward to see how it helps in terms of stabilizing the currency. This is a direct policy that is looking at stabilizing the currency within this time where the demand is high for the currency. So now they are going to auction $125 million, I hear, into the market. At least this is positive. It's just that we need to know how the effect will be in the long term. I mean, all these are short term. Let's not forget it. These are short term measures that the central bank is bringing in to help, because they know the trend that this is the time that if there's any destabilization or some fluctuations, these are the times that it happens. So they are bringing it now to help, to stabilize the currency within this time where there's high demand for the currency.
Kofi, we thank you so much for your time this afternoon, sharing your thoughts on this interesting developing issue. Let's still stay on the city, because economist Professor Peter Korte has also been proposing some measures that could help deal with this challenge facing the Ghana city.
They need to enforce the regulations. I don't think we are doing that a lot. There's a lot of informal activities going on within the foreign exchange market. People transact in foreign exchange without license, sometimes without identification. You could walk to any forest bureau or any corner and exchange money. The black market is flourishing, so they have every incentive to hoard and release and create panic. So all of these activities are going on, and that for me is a short-term measure or short-term activity that can be addressed easily to influence the foreign exchange or the exchange rate. And then also you find quite a number of traders who undertake cash transactions. Those who go to Dubai, who go to China. I believe we can facilitate that a bit more, if we can create the environment to enable them to transact business, exchange money, go to China, maybe load their monies on debit cards, and also some banks are doing that here, so that they can transact business. That in itself would help as a short-term measure. But in the long term, certainly they need to export more, get more export revenue, and by so doing, we'll be able to rake in more foreign exchange. Otherwise, we'll continue to rely on some of these inflows, donor inflows, cocoa syndicated loan. Those are the things we rely on to cushion ourselves.
What about on the fiscal front as well?
With the fiscal front, trying to be more prudent is key, because anytime we run huge budget deficits, that is where it also translates into exchange rate depreciation. We tend to pay more on foreign denominated debts, and that affects the foreign exchange. So fiscal prudence is very key.
Let's look at one story that is breaking. And founder of Defunct Capital Bank, William Atuasian, and 3 other directors of the institution have been slapped with 26 charges, including stealing. The state in the suit are accused, actually the 3, of stealing 100 million Ghana cedis belonging to the bank. Now, this relates to their roles leading to the collapse of the bank. Attorney General, that is Gloria Kufu, last month indicated that the persons have contributed to the collapse of the banks and will be prosecuted. Joy Business cited a copy of the charge sheet filed and charges directs, that is the Tenete, Koti Papafiu, and also a former MD of the bank, Fitzgerald Odonko. Now let's talk about customers, because it is said that the customer is always right. Now that's the phrase that you may be familiar with, but how important is this line to businesses? As we mark the Customer Service Week, we take a look at customer service in Ghana today.
From the 7th to the 11th of October, we're celebrating Customer Service Week, and the theme for this year is Service is Magical. But then, what do our local businesses understand by customer service? Are they indeed ready to sacrifice and make sure that their consumers get the best of service? According to the Cambridge Dictionary, customer service refers to the way that companies behave towards their customers, for example, how well they treat them. The perception of success of such interactions is dependent on employees who can adjust themselves to the personality of the guest. I decided to test a vendor by purchasing a bottle of water worth 2 cedis with a 50 cedi note. My aim was to find out how the vendor would react in getting me change. There,
I met a customer who also purchased some water with a 10 cedi note, and as expected, the vendor did not have change for him. Although she made the effort to step out of her shop to get some change, there was no communication to the customer, leaving him dissatisfied. My scenario was no different, as she neither had change for a 50 cedi note. And surprisingly, she was willing to forgo my 2 cedi for the stress of having to go around looking for change. With the mass customization and the plethora of choices nowadays, companies must now fight for customers' businesses. Although some businesses leverage on technology to improve interaction with customers, many believe there is more to be done to improve one-on-one physical interactions.
When you go to, let's say, the supermarkets, mostly, I think the training has gone down. Most of them, instead of them attending to the customers, they tend to pay more attention to their phones than attending to you. And also, I believe we have customer service in the government sector as well. So sometimes when you go there, they pay more attention to their phones and chatting with their friends than paying attention to you, the client who is in need of something.
Okay, in Ghana, I think we are doing good, but then we need to upgrade and then step up our game. Currently, we are having problems, and especially with the telecommunication networks. When you go, like you make complaints and all that, sometimes they'll be talking a whole lot of stuff like they don't make you feel comfortable. And with the banks, you go there, you see them with their cell phones, they hold their cell phones, they have divided attentions, they don't get to the customers, and they treat you, they think with your appearance, you are nobody, but that is wrong.
Yes.
My friend had an accident from Kumasi, had the surgery there, he fractured his arm. Then he came here for dressing since he stays here. Then a wound that is less than a week old, a nurse from, I don't know what kind of nurse she is. I don't know if she's a voluntary nurse or not. She just opened the wound, pressed it, and now 2 days later the wound is rotten and it's infected. And now he needs plastic surgery. And all the hospital can do, tell us, is we should go to 37 military hospital for them to take care of us. They didn't compensate us. They didn't say anything about it. They didn't say anything to the nurse. Like, she wasn't querying nothing. So I feel like people now just want money from us. They don't want to know what we really need. The need of the customer is no more needed. Now it's just about money, 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 money.
For consumers with special needs like Johnson Mahama, the need for customer service is even more important.
I have a lot of problems when I go to public places to access the service there. But because many people as a Ghanaian forgetting that we have different people with disability, especially the deaf. So me like this, sometimes when I go, I try to draw the people's attention to know that, oh, this is the person I am. So with my time, draw my attention. But it's like both people, we are wasting their time.
According to 2017 State of Global Customer Service report by Microsoft, consumers say customer service is an important factor in the choice of loyalty to a brand. So before you turn away that consumer with your actions, remember that you may be losing a customer for life. For Joy Business, Karen Dudu.
Indeed, and that's a very important note to draw the curtain down on Marketplace. Have a good afternoon and all the best.